new report from CBS News alleges that the DOJ has been taking down tens of thousands of files related to Jeffrey Epstein that were previously made public.
According to CBS, right now about 2.7 million pages from the Epstein files have been made public, which is lower than the initial estimate of 3 million, and a number that their analysis shows is fluctuating. So far, they estimate the DOJ has taken down more than 47,000 files, many in response to criticism over survivors' personal information and photos, but the report also cites a call log with all of its names redacted and images of Epstein's jail cell, where investigators say that he hanged himself. Those were both taken down. Now, the DOJ responded to the allegations in a combative way, telling CBS that their analysis appears to be fundamentally flawed, and they said the department has not deleted any files from the library, but they note that more than 47,000 files are offline for further review and would be ready to be republished later this week. CBS did admit that they appeared to be putting some files back up.
Despite their dismissal of the CBS analysis, the fact that the DOJ would take down any previously published files is stirring theories online. Of course, the Lincoln Project writing on X, this is a cover-up. And House Democrats on the Oversight Committee asking in their own post, why does the DOJ continue to take down Epstein files? Who is directing this? Who are they protecting? That committee continues to investigate high-profile figures named in the documents. You'll remember last week the Clintons gave their testimony in a closed-door session, and just yesterday, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick volunteered to testify before the committee. That's expected to happen in the coming weeks. And committee chair James Comer says, like the Clintons, a transcript of his testimony will also be released.
The Democratic Party has Epstein derangement syndrome.
Nope, you're not making up a term.
Epstein derangement syndrome. Look, they took down some of the files they published because everybody got mad at them because alleged survivors, photos were
they took down some redacted call logs and the information from Epstein's jail cell.
You can't make anyone happy here.
No, you can't not follow the law. The law is release everything. You still haven't released 2 million files and you're taking 65,000 pages away, 47,000 documents. No, do your job, follow the law.
These same people yelled at them for revealing private information about alleged victims, and it's like, are we gonna share everything or not? Are we protecting people's feelings or not?
Are we going to have clear order or not? Is the FBI going to do its job and redact important information and not try to protect certain people that are wealthy and happen to be powerful men? Or are they going to move forward and do their job and provide it to the DOJ and allow the DOJ?
How can you possibly... I don't think this task can actually be done perfectly. The act of declassifying and determining and going through 3 million pages and making sure you get out there every shred of information, no matter how irrelevant or made up or false, to everyone's satisfaction, but without exposing anyone who is allegedly harmed by Epstein to any further psychological harm, seems like a task that is bound to be screwed up sometimes in some ways.
Sometimes jobs are hard. The FBI and DOJ have a job. Certain things that people want re-released or released in the first place are flight logs, prison surveillance footage, investigative memos, photos from Epstein's homes and island. Don't take those things off because it looks like, okay, they have removed some things and people have questions about, of course, protect any survivors. That was from the beginning. I think Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna were both saying, please make sure we're protecting survivors in all of this. No, I'm not going to stand here while you sit here and call women who are accusing Jeffrey Epstein of doing criminal activity to them, which he's been convicted of already, of prostitution of minors, liars. That's not appropriate.
They're lying when they suggest other people are involved and provide no evidence.
Because which basis, though? Which basis? They don't have to. A victim does not have to provide evidence to tell you that more people were involved if they were a child that got taken advantage of.
I don't have to believe.
You don't, but the American public has asked for transparency in this, and so the FBI and DOJ have to follow the law. No, we haven't. Every file is not released yet, and so there shouldn't be any adamant perspective coming from not releasing this stuff when the American public on both sides has called for the release of this stuff. At least try to do it as little sloppily as you can. And the FBI has had a hard time doing that. Mind you, Cash Patel over there partying, drinking beer.
How about the woman who
out of the
said
country
that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump sexually assaulted her together in South Carolina, a place that neither of them ever visited, and we know that to be the case. Can I call that person a liar?
If you have an example of one person that lied about sexual assault, that doesn't mean that every person that lied connected to Epstein of sexual assault is. I mean,
Well,
every
I
person
didn't say
connected to
I didn't
Epstein
say they
is
lied
lying.
about Epstein. No, I mean they lied about their ages when they encountered Epstein, and they initially said nothing wrong happened, and then they changed their stories years later.
And if the
But
law requires the
accept-
investigation to be transparent, let's transparently release the files. You've been calling for this thing to end. The only way that it can end is if they stop playing games and deleting stuff like jail cell information and release everything.
it baffles me that more people can't see that this is a witch hunt and a conspiracy theory out to get Trump, and the fools in MAGA who did not perceive that this is just a political thing Democrats are pursuing to embarrass Trump for, even though he's guilty of absolutely nothing connected to Epstein.
He wouldn't be embarrassed any less or more than Hillary and Bill Clinton, and they seem like they're going to be fine. So he can go up there
They
and
didn't
testify.
do anything wrong either.
So then he shouldn't be worried about it. That's the top level of embarrassment. He'll be fine.
I'm not worried on his behalf. I'm just think it's all
A witch hunt
absurd.
is not a successful witch hunt if that's the only thing that happens. You have to testify and tell the truth.
Okay, well, plenty of people are suffering as a result of this, are facing consequences as a result of this never-ending investigation and document dump. And
If a private company
We'll have
decides to
no
let somebody
private-
go because they have poor moral judgment, they're allowed to do that.
if a private company lets someone go because the government published uncorroborated, anonymous lies about them,
No, showed
I
email of
think that's
constant
maybe
communication
different.
with somebody who's a known predator. That's what it shows. So you have bad judgment. We don't want you to work here. That's okay. And if there were financial criminal activities going on with Epstein that have nothing to do with, any of this cabal that you're talking about, that's still a crime. You got to go.
So cancel culture is good again.
It's not
back on
who's
the cancel
canceling.
culture.
You committed a crime. Putting people in prison because they commit
Sending an
crimes
email
is
to
good.
Jeffrey Epstein is not a crime.
No. Colleges and businesses are allowed
These
to
people
fire
being
whoever
fired,
they want.
they're
Or step away from their
no
jobs.
one who's being fired, the people you're referencing, has been even alleged to have committed a crime, let alone convicted of committing a crime. The only person convicted, prosecuted for any crime here is Jeffrey Epstein, and now these British people for financial crimes. And that's fine. I don't care. Hang them. I don't care. Don't really hang them, obviously, but throw the book at them is what I meant. But I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about.
We got a wrap. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was grilled by lawmakers on Capitol Hill yesterday as she continues to deal with outrage over ICE operations in Minnesota. We're going to recap that next in My Lens.